This is Amud Yomi Gemara in Shabbos. Daf Mem. Nope. Pei Dalid Amud Aleph. We're holding up a Gimel and Beis right after the Mishnah. What we're discussing is the dinim of Tumah v'Tayra as it applies to a boat. The Mishnah concluded that a Sfina is not Mekabel Tumah. Why? The Mishnah quoted a pasuk. Derech Aniyah B'Leiv Yam. The Gemara explained that just like the Yam is Tar, so too the Sfina is tahar. Coming off of that, the Gemara continues. The Gemara says Tanya on the second wide line. Pegim Lamed Beis. Chananya Omer says Chananya Nilmuda Misak. Chananya has a different reason why a svina is not mekabel tama. Is because it's learned out from a sack. Then what do we learn out? Ma sack, just when it comes to a sack. Mitalto malivarekam, it's movable when it's full and when it's empty. Avkol mitalto malivarekam. So to any item that is moved when it's full and when it's empty, that's an item that is mekabel tama. Which comes to exclude, explains the Gemara. La fuke svina. You don't move a boat when it's full and when it's empty. You only move a boat when it's empty. Therefore, says Chananya, you want to know the reason why a boat is not mekabel tama? It's not because of the pasuk, but rather it's because of a din of the equation between a boat and a sack. And sack is movable mali v'reikam. A boat has to be the same, and a boat is only moved mali, reikam, and therefore it's not mekabel tama. Says the Gemara, okay, beautiful. A second source. My benayu. What's the chilik between the Chananya and the Chachamim? Explains the Gemara. Benayu sfina shel cheres. If I have a boat of cheres, man damar ni b'leiv yamar mishnah the rabbanon hanami b'leiv yamu. This also floats in the sea, and therefore it's not mekabel tama. The man damar kisak, but according to Chananya, that it's because it's equated to sak. Hanach t'ksivi nami gabe sak. But explains the Gemara, it has to be a material that is written by Sak. That what? What is the material that says by Sak? That is eitz, that is beged, that is ar, that is wood, that is cloth, that's a hide. However, says the Gemara, if it's made out of cheres, afal gaf, it will not have to have the same qualities as Sak. It will still, yes, be makabel tama. So explains the Gemara, the chilik between Chananya and the Chachamim is going to be a boat of this particular material called cheres, earthenware. Second Afkamina explains the Gemara, Inami Sfinas Hayardin, a boat of the Yardin. The man Damar Ni believe Yami, according to the man Damar, the Rabbanan who says that the reason why a boat is not mekabel tama, the Chachamim, the Mishnah, is because it's equated to the Yam. This is the same thing. What's the difference? What river it is? Lamaisa, it's sitting in the ocean. Hanami, but this boat, the boat of the Yarden, is yes, mitaltelas mali v'reikam. Why? Why is this boat mitaltelas mali v'reikam? Explains the Gemara. Damar Chanina ben Akavya. What is the reason why the Mishnah says that Sfinas Hayardin is going to be Tameh? The way that they used to load such a cargo boat back on the Yardin was they actually loaded it full on the Yabasha, on the dry ground, and then they took the full boat and they transported it onto the water. And therefore, this type of boat is coming out, is yes, moved when it is male, full, not only when it is reikon. That's the reason why it says the Gemara, so yes be mekabel toma. A second nafkamina between the Chachamim and Chananya. Continues the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Marav. Le'olam, based on the aforementioned Gemara, al yimna odam es atzmoi, mi beis ha-medrash, afilu sha'achas. Never miss one moment of Beis Medrash. Why? This Mishnah was taught for many years in the Beis HaMedrash. They didn't know the reasoning. So Rav Chanina ben Akavi came and explained it. Amar Rav Yechanan, Yonasan, excuse me. Continuing in the same theme, even B'Shas Misa, one should not remove himself from the Beis HaMedrash. Why? Shenemar, says the pasuk, Zoyis HaTorah Adam Ki Yamos Ba'ayil. Afilu B'Shas Misa, from there we learn out Te'osekes b'Torah, even at the moment of death, one should be learning Torah. Amar Reish Lakish, and finally the famous statement of Reish Lakish: Ein divrei Torah miskaimim el b'mi shemi misatzmai aleha. Except one who kills himself over divrei Torah. Except one overly exerts himself. Torah, of course, ends up as gishmak, but it requires incredible toil and hard work. Says Reish Lakish, Shnemar Zos HaTorah Adam Ki Yamas Bayal. Now we go back to the Machlekes Chananya and the Chachamim. Chachamim Nachama learning from the equation between the boat and the yam. Chananya learning between the equation of the boat and the sack. Amar Rava, says Rava, as we turn over to Beidalit Amar Aleph. Ule Chananya, says Rava, according to Chananya, that says that it's equated to sack, and therefore it's totally, it depends whether it's moved Malay Virekom. Says Rava, Tiltal Aydi Shvarim, a boat that is moved by Shvarim, by oxen, Shemei Tiltol. A boat moved by Shvarim is considered moving the boat. Says Rava Achidish. We're learning that what Chananya learned has to be Tiltol, has to be moved Mali Verekam, like a sack. Says Rava, if it's moved by the Shvarim, then it's the same thing. Not only is it moved by humans picking up the boat, but even if it's moved by the Shvarim, it's going to have a same halacha. So this is where things get complicated as Gemara goes into Mishnah and Kelim. Says the Gemara, Ditinan, as we learned in the Mishnah, Shaloish agalois hein. There are three types of agalois, three types of wagons. Asur katadra tameya midras. It's made like a chair, a wagon that you sit upon, has tumas midras. As tumas midras is that which one sits upon, is the special Tumah Midras, and of course, a wagon meat to sit upon would have such a Tumah. Kimita. Now it says Kimita, which you would think is a wagon like a bed, which means you would lie upon it, and therefore you would think, of course, it has Tamei Midras. Says the Gemara, no. It's Tamei, only Tamei Mace. And the Mepharshim up there in Kelim explain it's because this is really a freight cargo. When it means like a mita, it means there's a long wagon that's used for transportation. And therefore, there's no Tomas Midras, only Tamei Mace. Shalavanim, Tahira Miklam. We have a boat, not a boat, excuse me. We have a wagon that's used for stones, is no Toma at all. V'amar Rav Yechanan, v'yishra beis kibul, rimoinim Tameya, Tamei Mace. But if this wagon has a beis kibul, has a receptacle, which could be used the size of rimoinim, which is always the minimum size for Kabbalah's Toma, then it is yes, Mikabel, Tomas, Mace, and any other type of Toma. So now from here, the Gemara is going to prove that if I have something very large that only is able to be transported by Shvarim, then it's yes, Makabel Toma, like the din of Rava. As we see over here, that when we have these large wagons that require certainly Shvarim to carry it, these freight wagons, there is Tomas Midrash. Explains the Gemara, there's another Mishnah. Shalosh Tevis that also says there's three types of boxes now. Tev, I have a box Shepes see the Tamei Midrash open on the side. There's Tomas Midrash. Mel Malhut open on the top. Tamei Mace. Vaba Bimida. The box is even greater than the higher Miklam. So there's three levels of boxes. Open from the side, open from the top, and too big that there's no tumah at all. So says the Gemara, what do we see over here? We see over here that when something is so tremendous, you have this huge box, it's tahir miklum. And yet, when I have an agala that we said, which is kimita, we said that what? It's yes, mikabel tumah. Proves the Gemara the din of Rava. Proves the Gemara that yes, there's going to be tumah when it's transported by shvarim. After proving the shita of Rava, continues the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan. We're 8 lines down. The first one line is Midras. Continues the Gemara, Midras, Klichares Tahar. The Midras of a Klichares by a Zav is Tahar. There'll be no Tumah in such a case, even though such an item is, yes, created to support a person, yes, created that a person stands upon it, still there's no Tumah. Rav Yossi Omer, no, Av Sfina. So the question is, Rav Yosi av svina, what exactly is he adding on? So my kamar. So explains the Gemara. Amar av zvid, the first pshat. Hachi kamar. This is what the brisa means. Midras kli cheres tahor. The measures of a kli cheres by a zav will not have any tuma. Why? Because a kli cheres is not makabel tumas midras umagoi, but if you touch it, then it is makabel tuma tami. Usfina shel cheres is tameya, according to which opinion kechananya, like the two shitas that we just said, that it's totally upon the maybe nayu. We said according to Chananya that if it's made out of cheres, it's yes, it is not mikabel toma. So Kechananya, who says that cheres, even though it's not carried, excuse me, the opposite. Kechananya, that is yes mikabel toma. According to the Chachamim, it's not mikabel toma. Why? Because it's equated to the yam. According to Chananya, it's yes mikabel toma. So that's who Rav Yosi is going to be going. That's who the Tanakama is going with. Rav Yosi adds on. Av Sfina Ta'ira, Sfina is also tar. Kitana Didan, like our Mishnah. Now, why is this Sfina tar? Because it's equated to the Yam, and therefore, just like you don't carry the Yam, you don't carry the Sfina. Therefore, it's tar, even if it's made out of Cheres. So Maskavler Rapava says Rapava, it's a beautiful pshat, but the wording in the Brisa is a problem. My Af. Rav Yosi said Af. There's no Af. He's not adding anything onto the Tanakama. Elohim Rapava Chikamar. Midras Kli Cheres. The midrash of a kli charetz by a zav is not tamei. Why? Because charetz doesn't have tamas midrash. Umagai tamei. Oh, now we added the following to the brisa. Shall eat. But if this item that we're discussing and a vessel is made out of eight, then of course it's a regular kli. Ben midrash ben magai is going to be tamei. Usfinas ayardein will be tahira. So now, who does this go with? Kitana Didan, like the Tana of a Mishnah, that every boat is excluded in Rav Yosi Aimer. No, Av Sfina Tameya, says Rav Yosi, even a Sfina Sayardein is yes, Mikabel Tama. According to whom? According to Chananya. And now it makes sense, the Af in the Braisa. Umidrash Kleicheres Minolan Titar. So concludes our Amud for the day, says the Gemara. How do we know this din that Kleicheres is excluded from Toma? One who touches on that which he sits upon. Makish Mishkava, he's sitting. Loi to himself. Mahu, just like who when he's a Zav, is late Aira b'mikva. Mishkava Nami is late Aira b'mikva, and therefore a Kli Cheres cannot go into a mikvah. Therefore, it's not Mekabel Thomas Midras. Of course, is a very, very famous, a very common din that Kli Cheres cannot become a tar. But this is where we learn not only cannot become tar, it also will never be Mekabel Thomas Midras. Now, one more Mekar, very small Tana, Kimishkam Nidasa Yaloi, Makiv Mishkava Law. We compare the nida, the couch, that which she sits upon, to herself. But that's only by a regular couch. And therefore, we'll never be able to be Mikabel Thomas Midras. Pick it up from here. B'siyata Dishmaya.